recent episode of The Walking Dead was Variant, Season 11, Episode 19, and I finally get to talk really enthusiastically about an episode of this show that I have loved. A lot of the recent episodes have been okay, they've been kind of slow. Like last week I was just like, I guess that was an episode of a TV show. This one, it really worked. It was great. But I'll get into that. Let's check out this mission. Defend yourself from the new threat. Spoiler alert, I guess. Finally we have a mission with Jerry. I know everyone has been so keen to use their favorite hero, Jerry. Aaron with his little plastic water pistol there. It's flare gun, but okay. So, dude, these walkers are climbing. Yeah. So this'll kind of spoil the whole meaning of the episode if you do this before watching it. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's just one of those things. I think I liked every single scene in this episode. Obviously, if anything comes up in this mission, then I'll mention it if there's any surprises. But otherwise, you can kind of see, where the bad guys are coming from. If you're not confident, just watch what I'm doing and do that, as long as I don't die. And you should be okay. This is a nice little representation of a key moment in the episode. You probably could have guessed that this is what's going to be the basis for the mission. But I'm really keen to get talking about the episode anyway. So Variant, we are right at the end, and finally it feels like things are picking up. They're speeding up. So let's see, what notes do I have? So really short intro. This episode had a teeny tiny intro. Is it the shortest of the entire show? Could be. I was so overjoyed to see Princess. She's just being led out of her house. Spoiler alert, by the way. She's being led out of her house, but I was just like, yay, Princess, one of my favourite characters. Where has she been for the last couple of episodes? Her kind of like spunky persona and feisty attitude has really been missed. So I was hoping that she would be more in the episode, and she was. Pamela, starting these political machinations, it's like everything that's happened is pretty much your fault, and you're acting like it's not. I know she's ostensibly sort of a bad guy, sort of. But I was just like, come on, man, you're not really being very reasonable here. But hey, she doesn't have to be. She's the boss. Mercer, so right from the start, we start getting into what is actually going to be happening in the episode, and Mercer actually has an interesting dilemma. Doing the wrong thing to sort of save his sister. Well, that kind of like puts him in a really tough position. He's like, no matter what he does, he's doing something wrong and he's doing something right. So I liked that, and then we just get straight on with it. Next note. Ross Marquand gets to act. I guess this is when he's talking to the girl. So many characters, I forget their names, but he just gave this fantastic performance when he's talking about how he was married and how you should really just go for it. You should, if you find love, go for it. Like all of the scenes in this episode, and it's something that's been missing in other ones, it just felt like the scene had a purpose. It felt like it went somewhere. The people were having a meaningful conversation. It had an effect on something later in the episode. The show recently has just felt like stuff is happening, but it's treading water. I'm using Maggie as the leader because I want more XP. People are having these conversations, and it's like, okay, can we just get on with what we need to get on with? There's no momentum. We're coming to the end of the show. I want things to be set up. I want to know where my heroes are going. But just having scenes like this develops the characters. It's a showcase for some tip-top acting. Performances from everybody in this were notably better than a lot of the other episodes, mainly because I think they actually had some clear direction for where their characters are going and what they're doing. Yeah, anyway. So, next note that I had, Daryl calling Eugene's bluff. Really big burn. shows a nice side to Daryl. He's not an idiot. He's like, hey, Eugene, you know, this isn't you. Come on then. And of course, he just calls that bluff. And then we have a nice chat. Eugene saying about how he's a coward. Daryl obviously is not, but he doesn't mock him. He doesn't put him down or anything. Again, it just felt like these were the two characters that I know. This is them just being the characters. Great performances. And it's like, this is exactly how this kind of scene would go down between these guys. Instead of characters acting weird or just the discussion not going anywhere, there was a point to this discussion. It comes up later in the episode. That keeps on happening as well, which I loved. Next note, Hornsby knows he's screwed. We have the best scene to do with the Commonwealth when Pamela comes in. She threatens Hornsby. He knows his time's up. He's desperately begging for his life. She is not having any of it. Kind of felt like a Game of Thrones-esque kind of theme. But I loved it. Yes, we have stuff happening in the Commonwealth. People have been taken out. People are angry. People are facing consequences. Things are happening in the Commonwealth. So excited to see that. Oh my gosh. Next scene, Princess. Brilliant. Finally, she's been brought back. And we have this wonderful speech from her. And Mercer. Again, the performances are fantastic. And there's a whole point to the scene. The scene has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And things have changed after the scene, which we've had so many scenes that just tread water. She really throws that whole it could be worse permissive attitude that Mercer and a lot of people have into the light. And it feels like something Princess would say is true to her character. She makes a really good point, and you can see it working on Mercer. Not because he's being manipulated. She's not manipulating him. She is just presenting this perspective that he hadn't considered, and it's not forced, it's not cheesy, it just works. And you can see poor old Mercer, he's really in the middle of this. He's really been put through the ringer. God, sorry, I'll speed up a little bit because I can't say enough good things about this episode. Tense zombie attack scene with an awesome Scooby-Doo mask moment. Let's see who this really is. Just takes the face off. It's like, oh, it's a walker. I just ripped a walker's face off, and it's like, yep, it can climb. Yep, it can open doors. It uses tools. Such a smart idea. It reinvigorates the walkers. We maybe could have done with something like this at the start of the season. We're only introducing it at the end of the show. Why? Might have made a stronger case for Commonwealth if you're like, hey, look, if this is what the walkers are able to do, we really do need to step up our protection, our discipline, our weapon. Anyway, great moment. Love the concept of Kingdom 2.0. Yes, Jerry should be the king. That's obvious. And I was so relieved. It felt like we had a scene where we're like, here's one of the characters. Here's maybe where they are going to go by the end of this show. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what this season should have been. Maybe like, hey, look, here's a resolution for this character. Here's what is going to happen to them. We are going to set this up. Why we're only getting this now is infuriating, but I loved seeing it in this episode. I promise, just a few more little things to talk about. Great expression acting from Mercer. The look on his face when he sees that Eugene is a good man who'll sacrifice himself for others, including the two women that Mercer cares about most. It makes Eugene's earlier speech about him being a coward more powerful and wrong, and it's just a great moment. Fantastic acting, fantastic denouement to the whole episode. There's this great arc to this episode. It goes somewhere. It says something, and I love that. And then at the end, we have that nice little coda, just a burst of action, really exciting fight. It's great to see Rosita just kicking some ass. This episode is the best episode that I have seen for a very, very long time. It had some forward momentum. Things were happening. Events had consequences in the same episode. I can't say enough really nice things about this episode. Oh yeah, and here's the mission in the game as well, by the way. I hope you enjoyed it as much. I just wanted to share some enthusiasm about this show that I have loved. Finally, we've got just this fantastic episode, and it wasn't just some action set piece. It was these wonderful character moments, brilliant acting. Can't say enough about this episode. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. As ever, thank you for watching.